Good day and welcome to another edition of Marriage Affairs with Pastor X. And today I'm with Cain Matloko from the Boabeb Learning Institute. Welcome, Mr. Cain Matloko.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right, before we talk about, even introduce today's topic, let's talk about Boabeb. Am I saying it right?
The baobab.
The boy.
The baobab.
The baobab. It sounds so cool. It sounds cool and funky. Yeah. What is it all about? What do you do, and who are you in that business?
The Baobab Learning Institute is a human relations solution vehicle.
Okay.
In other words, we provide solutions for human relationships.
Okay.
We journey with people in life.
Okay.
And from time to time, we may not have the necessary skills.
Okay.
Either to grow our relationships,
yes,
to maintain and sustain them,
okay,
or just to make sense of where we are with them. And so the Baobab Learning Institute provides tools that helps individual when they experience stuckness, okay, to unstick themselves, okay, and to move forward. Okay. But we also provide business development solutions. Okay. And so we're helping organizations tap into the potential of their people, okay, and grow those people, okay, so that organizations themselves can reach a higher profitability, okay, and grow effectively.
All right. I think out of everything that you've said few things that I think everyone who's watching now, they will agree with me that you are very relevant to what I want us to talk about. So basically today, I've invited Cain Matloko here to talk about abuse in relationships. And since he mentioned a couple of times, I think about 3 or 4 times, relationships and helping people move from a level of stagnation and so forth, I think that will help, because that's one of the things that I'm having a serious problem with. And people, when they're coming to me, you find that maybe some of the things that they're going through, it's more of abuse in the relationships. So if we were to kick in with that, how would you define abuse in a relationship?
Abuse in a relationship would be constituted by controlling behaviors.
Okay. Okay.
A set of controlling behaviors that generate fear. Okay. That generate harm. Okay. That are threatening. Okay. And that often have emotional deprivation, okay, attached to them. Okay. Perpetuated by one spouse or one partner in the relationship against the other, yeah, with a view to coerce, okay, and to subdue,
oh wow, okay,
or even diminish,
okay,
the other partner in the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in other words, if we were to take that definition, we could easily say that a person can be abused financially, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and in every way, basically.
Definitely. Physical abuse would constitute things like hitting someone, okay, kicking someone, yeah, shoving someone against walls, okay, tripping somebody while they are walking.
Can also pointing a finger in an aggressive way,
of course,
constitute.
Of course. Okay.
It's
and that's more threatening. The finger is more threatening, really.
Okay.
Which plays into the psychological space, yeah, more than the physical space. Okay. However, when you look at it financially as well, yes, it does happen where people will withhold resources, okay, from the other partner. Yes. Or people would trash the house. People would break valuable furniture, yes, blades, and, yeah, those kind of things to cause loss, okay, of an economic nature.
So it is intentional to a certain extent.
Oh, absolutely, okay, absolutely. It can be sexual as well.
Yes.
People can withhold sexual activity. Okay. Or people can even rape, even in a marriage or in a relationship.
Their own partners.
Their own partners.
Okay.
And psychologically, we've mentioned threatening behavior.
Yes.
And name calling, diminishing the value of another person.
Yeah.
And sometimes exposing your partner's perceived weaknesses in front of strangers and other people. Wow. Just to diminish how they feel about themselves and to destroy their confidence.
Okay. I would love to take this subject to another level where we can unpack now these things. And I'm sure people that are watching here, they would be able to follow up. And when we do a follow up, probably they can also help us to pick up some of the things they would like us to get into in detail. So today we're just touching the surface. The other thing is somebody can argue and say, I've seen my parents fighting.
Yeah.
And they're still together. Mm-hmm. And, this is nothing new. Me doing anything to my partner. I've paid lobola for this person, or I'm married to this person, and I can do whatever. What can you say to somebody with that kind of mentality?
Well, to be nice to the person.
Okay.
The first thing to say for me would be the fact that you've seen your parents fighting.
Yeah.
Is no license.
Okay.
To get you to perpetuate the same ill in your relationship.
Yeah.
There are different reasons why people would stay in an abusive relationship or an abusive marriage.
Yeah.
But the key thing is for us to understand that a relationship to thrive requires two individuals who are whole.
Yeah.
Or who are aware of their unwholeness.
Okay.
And they are committed to working together to build themselves to wholeness.
Yeah.
Instead of being broken down.
Okay.
And so I don't have to stay in a relationship where there is constant fighting and abuse because I saw my parents do it.
Okay.
They may not have known what I know.
Yes.
Secondly, they may not have had the opportunities I have to rectify whatever could be wrong.
Yes.
And so I need to consider their situation very different to mine. The context is not always the same.
Yeah.
At the same time, there is more harm, not just to you as a partner being abused and staying on, but you must think about what it does to your family, to your children if there are children involved, to the extended family as well. Because sometimes these abusive environments have a tendency of also cutting people off and depriving them of family connections.
Okay.
And so you are receiving fists, you are being deprived of your immediate circle of concern and love.
Yeah.
That destroys you as a person.
Okay. Now, here's another thing. Generally, as a society, we always, when we talk abuse, immediately we talk men against women. Can men also be abused within the context of everything that we have said thus far?
I'm going to answer that question twice.
Okay.
Because it's important for us to do that.
Okay.
Because of our patriarchal society and the privilege patriarchy bestows upon us as men, we tend to try and defocus the argument that women bear the brunt of relationship and spousal abuse in this country more than men.
Okay.
And so I often hear people say, yeah, but men can be abused as well. Well, that's rare.
Okay.
That's rare.
Yeah.
And so when we are talking about abuse in our context, we must never forget that it is women and children who bear the greater brunt of spousal and relationship abuse. Gender-based violence in its totality, femicide. It is the face of the perpetrator, unfortunately, is a man. And if you asked women, when you think abuse and you feel the fear of abuse, what runs through your mind. They'll tell you it's the face of a man and the fists of a man that runs through their mind. So yes, men do experience abuse. However, the scourge we are facing is not men abuse.
Okay.
It is abuse, it is violence, and sometimes we need to use the word violence to give sense to this experience. It is violence against women perpetrated by men in the main.
Okay. And then you've mentioned something earlier on. You said you don't have to stay in a relationship that is abusive. Now, my next question is abuse, and obviously there are degrees, but in general, is abuse grounds for somebody to consider a divorce?
Ongoing abuse at the hands of a partner who refuses to take responsibility for their behavior and actions and to work to fix them. Okay. And I'll use a word that is generally not used in a context. It's used in another context, in a spiritual context. But in the face of a partner who refuses to repent, you need to think seriously about saving yourself. Okay. Because if you stay, we don't even need to do research. We know that if you stay, you may live in a body bag.
In a body bag, yes.
And so you want to think about first yourself. You've got a life to live. Yes. You've got a purpose to fulfill. And if you're going to allow that to all be destroyed at the hands of an uncaring, unthinking, immature, evil partner, then you don't love yourself enough. Okay. So, yes, a divorce, a separation, as painful as it is, as heart-rending as it is, in my world, becomes an option. Okay. When your life is at risk.
All right. Okay, that's fair. I think we speak the same language so far. And then my last question, you know this thing with families, they say, you know, stick it out. We've been there, we are here now. At what point do you involve law enforcement, you know, in the midst of a divorce, of abuse in a relationship? And at a point where you involve law enforcement, does that at any stage mean that you don't love your partner anymore?
You know, when we were growing up, our parents had a way of communicating love to us. Okay. It was through discipline as well. Not violence, discipline. Because there's a huge difference. A violent parent is not communicating love. A violent person is crazy. Okay. But a loving parent would introduce restraining processes and corrective processes of discipline to show love. So they would do that, and it would always feel like they did not love us when they did that. So I know the difficulty of introducing the law, you know, law enforcement agencies into a relationship. Might communicate to the family, the extended family, who do not daily experience the frustration of abuse, that the other partner loves less. But the truth is, at certain times, we need to use tough love. Not with our fists, not with our words, but to say, I have spoken to you about your behavior. You are not willing to change, and you are not willing to listen to me. Therefore, I'm going to introduce you to a power that is beyond me and you. That can help. Because what you are actually doing when you are introducing law enforcement, you are also saving that person against themselves. Not just against you. Because you are saying to them, if you carry on like this, thinking that violence and abuse is a solution,
Yes.
you are building yourself up for destruction.
Okay.
So I will bring somebody in who will take you away, hopefully give you an opportunity to reform in a structured way, so that you can come to your senses about your destructive behavior and what it is doing, firstly, to you.
Yes.
It's destroying your humanity. And now, because your humanity is destroyed successfully, you are now seeking to conform everyone to your image of destruction by now perpetrating this abuse on me and others, so that we may also lose our humanity in the way you've done. I love you enough, if I'm your spouse or I'm your partner, not to get you there. So I'm going to love you to jail.
Wow. All right, Marriage Affairs family, I'm sure you'll agree with me. This was just something else. And I would love to have Cain Matloko back here again, and we can talk more on this. Remember, you can get hold of us on WhatsApp, 08333173350, or www.xhn.co.za. Mr. Cain, thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Sir.
And thank you so much for your very, very insightful information that you've given us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.